Hey, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Mark.
And we're with Walter's World.
And today what we're going to do is we're going to review Southern Explorations, the tour company that we use to come here to Ecuador.
Overall, let's just say this. It has been one heck of an adventure. I mean, it's been really great. The kids loved it. We loved it. We have seen so much. So there's a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right into that.
The first thing you should know is Southern Explorations is a private tour company. It's not in groups. This is all done for you. So it's tailored just for you. So when we talked to Marissa and we talked to Eric there, and they really wanted to know, it's like, what do we want to see? What do we want to do? We said, hey, look, I want to get to Cuenca. I want to see the historic side. You wanted to see that. But we want to do stuff for the kids and see the nature and things like that.
So they managed to make us a trip just for us. And most of the time they work with people like 6 months in advance, and we had not 6 months.
We had like 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So got to give them credit for coming up with some good stuff with such short notice.
They did a really good job with that. So when you're talking about a private tour, this is highly tailored. And we've taken tours before that were private or that were just us, but they weren't necessarily tailored to our specifications. And they really did do that, and really with very few snafus. Everything went very smoothly. We had the best guides.
Oh yeah,
maybe that we've ever had anywhere in the world.
I have to give Southern Explorations that. Their owner actually is a guide. He was a guide before, and he's really focused on that. And that's one thing. I looked at their website. I'm like, they don't really hype up their guides, but honestly, Miguel, who we had in Quito, is probably the best guide we have ever had. Anywhere in the world. Fantastic guides. We had a great time with them.
And that's not saying anything about the other guides, because they were all exemplary.
Yeah, Milton was fantastic. Sebastian was great.
And then here,
Natalia here at the Bella Vista.
And they brought us here to Bella Vista Cloud Forest Reserve, and the guides here, I mean, every one of them's a naturalist, and these people go to school. They're professional guides. So kudos to Southern Explorations for having excellent guides. And these people not only guided well, but they adapted to our kids, and they incorporated our kids into things, and they enjoyed it. Like, they were cool to our kids. And a lot of guides aren't that way.
Some guys, they see kids and they're like, man, this one worked really well. And what was nice is there was some stuff. It was like we were supposed to do a cooking tour, and the chef got sick, and so they had to pull out. And on the fly, Sebastian's like, hey, well, let's go see some other parts of Quito you haven't seen. Yeah. Let's go to La Ronda. You can do that. And so that was what's really cool. And that's one of the good things about private tours. It's tailored to you. You're not on the, okay, you get 5 minutes here, you get 5 minutes there. You get to spend the time that you want to spend.
It's also a sign of a good guide when a guide can go on the fly and has the knowledge to take you somewhere else and to speak to other things.
Now, one thing that was cool is actually they give you an app. You can download an app that'll have your itinerary, tips for tipping, restaurants where you're going to be staying, things like that. I thought that was very cool, though the itinerary was very small, so you couldn't see it very well. So when they do send you your itinerary, make sure you print it out if you do use them.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, but the thing is, they have experts for all these different countries in South America. So we talked to Marissa, who's their Ecuador person. And man, I mean, I'd done my research in Ecuador before to make sure, because sometimes people say they're an expert and not really sure. So I did my research, and I was quizzing her, and she was giving me stuff. She knew her stuff. I was very impressed with that. So things went really well. You know how we are. We do the honest part. We do the good and the bad. And so would you like to talk about the bad thing about this?
It's only really one bad thing. On the way here, I got sick. Our kids had a stomach bug like a week ago, and as soon as we pulled into Quito, we got to our hotel, and I proceeded to throw up for 12 hours. It was horrible. But what made it worse is that hotel was not clean. Like, I made Mark go downstairs and get extra trash bags so I could use that, because I wouldn't throw up in the toilet. Listen, we're not picky people. We have stayed in some serious dumps. The one thing that I do insist upon, though, is clean toilet. If I can't even get my face near the toilet, and, well, I didn't even want to, never mind. It was just gross. That's what it comes down to. That was the one bad thing on this trip, was that we had one hotel, and maybe, you know what, maybe it was just bad cleaning staff that time, but we were supposed to stay in that hotel a total of 5 of our 11 nights here in Ecuador. So the first time I was really sick and whatever, and we left and we went somewhere else and stayed somewhere else in another part of the country, and then we came back, and that toilet too was dirty. And so I was like, I looked at Mark, I was like, I just can't do it. I can't stay this many nights here. So we called them, we let them know, and we said, just, we'll be staying here. We found another hotel that had really good cleanliness reviews. Yeah. And I said, just let them know where we're going to be. And you know what? They immediately adjusted.
All the schedules, all the guides, everybody was finding us, no problem whatsoever.
There was not an issue. And I know that we have been on tours that would not have been able to handle us going somewhere else.
We had one in Peru that we had an issue with theft from our hotel room, and the company couldn't adjust to it. There's been issues. They were really nice to adjust to it.
Us at that place.
Yeah, but I want to say is that hotel was bad, but everything else they had us in,
Yes.
Posada de Angel and Cuenca, was awesome. The people are super nice, super friendly.
And the hacienda
cuisine. Oh my
Cuisine,
God.
yeah.
The hacienda they had us stay at up by the Altovala market.
hot water bottles and a fireplace lit
Oh,
when
it was,
you came back
it
from
was
dinner.
Great.
Oh
my God,
heart.
it was fantastic. Now we're here at the Bella Vista Cloud Forest Reserve, and this is just...
I can't say enough about this place in particular. It has been awesome. It's like this huge ecology learning thing for our kids, and I have absolutely loved this. The owner was here, and he was really excited about our kids, and he's like, yeah, tell other people to bring their kids too, because
It's
we
awesome.
love this. We love to share this. And you can see that in so much of what happens in Ecuador. And Southern Explorations puts you in the hands of people who have that verve for this place, and so minus the one really icky hotel.
Yeah, that was the only bad thing I would say.
But hey, let's just hope that they had a bad cleaning staff that day.
And they actually had their...
2 days.
Because we wrote them, they wrote us back. Like, we just had Marissa was just there 3 months ago checking out the hotels, and she thought it was fine. So it could have been just we had bad luck. But... Twice. But it was the same. Anyway. But
Anyway,
if you know, the tour that we did kind of a basic Ecuador tour. We didn't go to Galapagos because Galapagos is insane expensive, okay? So if you're going to go there, just expect us to pay an arm and a leg.
especially if you do the water cruises. The overland things were a little bit less, but
Yeah, they're still expensive, though.
they're expensive. So
Yeah, but what they had us do is we started off in Quito, and we had a nice city tour with Miguel, who knew everything, took us around, showed us around. The boys and I got to do all kinds of fun stuff.
I
seeing
stayed home and threw up.
Yeah, she stayed home and threw up. And what's cool is Miguel, when he found out she was sick, he took us straight to a pharmacy, got her medicine for her illnesses, and brought it back. And he's like, you need to drink these things and take this. Of course, she only took half of it, so he was like...
but the next day when he picked me up, he's like, okay, well, if you didn't like that, let's try these rehydration drinks. And you know what? Wow, what an amazing person. And he then took us to, he knew everything.
Yeah.
Not only you guys had a great history tour, but he's like pulling us aside at the market, and he's like, oh, you really need to buy this blah 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 spice, because it's like cinnamon, but blah 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 blah, and it was actually part of this commerce thing, and da 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 da. I mean,
It was great.
The amount of knowledge I've gotten from just one guide, let alone the 4 guides that we've had in total, is just outrageous.
Yeah.
Have we said that enough?
Yeah, we said... Poor Miguel's going to go, you're putting pressure on me. Anyway, so the first day, we get in at night. The first day was the market, or was the tour of the city. The second day, we went out to the Altovala market, and we actually went into the mountains as well. We had beautiful views all throughout for the Andes and stuff. And we got to go to Metal del Mundo.
Yeah, we did the middle of the earth.
Balancing the egg and stuff like that.
And there's 2 different parts. One is like the very touristy sort of government-run, national park thing. And then like 500 meters away
if 500 meters away.
It's another kind of localish sort of thing, which quite frankly I enjoyed a lot more.
Yeah, that's where the silly stuff, like look at the water going in different directions and balance the egg and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was
a little
lot
cheese
of fun.
bally, but it was fun. It was like good cheese bally. I really enjoyed it. You got to see a shrunken head and stuff. And
yeah,
they had stuff,
the
but it was
kids
really
had
nice.
a ball there. That was a great experience. And so, we knew, obviously you're coming to Ecuador. We knew we wanted to go see the equator. So not only did we see one of the 2 types, we got to see 2. And they took us to a caldera, which is, after a volcano, and
kind of collapses in on itself.
yeah, and so we got to see that. We went on hikes, and you know what? We've got 2 little kids. I don't do great in high altitudes, and so they took that into consideration. So the hikes that we did do were at the lower elevations. There were other hikes much higher up, and because they knew that I don't do well at high altitudes, they arranged that specifically for us so that we do the easier ones where I could breathe.
Yeah. So then we went to the Altovala market, which was great. We've talked about that. And that was a fun experience. Then we went back to Quito and we flew to Cuenca. In Cuenca, we had a great guide. Milton was a great guide there. He took us, we got in, dropped off our stuff. A nice Posada de Angel was very nice, very happy with that. And he took us to El Cajas National Park. And that was pretty cool with the walks there.
Oh, yeah, we did a great hike there, and he took us way up high.
Yeah, Tres Cruces, like 12,000, 13,000 feet. I mean, it was way up there.
13,000 feet. And it was great. And you know what? When the kids were tired, he's like, hey, no worries. We can just do this, and it was... easy, taken care of.
Yeah, then the next day we had a tour of the Panama Hat Factory, because Panama hats are actually from here in Ecuador, and he gave us a city tour, and the rain was coming, so he's like, hey, let's adjust our tour. Let's do the Panama hats first versus seeing the city, because you don't want to walk in the rain. Another cool thing about private guides, you can do those switch ups. And Milton knew a ton of stuff too. He was great too with the city.
He was, and his family actually has back generations wove Panama hats. So, you know, that personal bit. And I feel like there were personal bits in everything we did with all of our guides. That was cool.
Yeah, and then we came back to Quito, and then that's when we were going to have our market tour, but the chef got sick. So then we had the on the fly, tour of the other part of the city. He's got to see a chocolate tour and stuff like that. That was nice. And then the next morning we came out here to Bella Vista. And Bella Vista, we've done 2 or 3 hikes. Four or five hikes, a lot of hikes. And what's cool is from here you can go down to Mindo. And I'll let you talk about that.
So, and actually the woman, Natalia, who is our guide, our naturalist guide through the hikes here, she's actually from Mindo. So when we went to Mindo, she is the one that took us down there. And we went and did the mariposa thing with the butterflies. They come and sit on your hands.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, they had the pupas and they like the chrysalis, and you see them come out like every day. It was really cool.
Hatch. That was amazing. And we did whitewater tubing, not rafting, kids. Tubing.
And if you're gonna go tubing, there's also, you could do ziplining tubing. You gotta be 6 or above to do that. And we were a little worried with Liam, but he had a great time. He said he wants to go do it every single day.
Liam said, they asked at the end, how was it? And he said, muy, bien.
And then we said, oh, that's very, very good. And he's like, no, I said, muy bien. So he loved it. It was fun.
There's a lot of adventure here, and it was great having Natalia because she knew everyone.
Yeah, honestly.
Mindo's 3,500 people, and she's like speaking to everyone, and she was just on top of everything. And we did the chocolate tour here too. So we had 2 different chocolate tours. Yeah.
One was like
actually different.
Yeah, because the one here was more
factory based. We got to see the inside workings, whereas the one on La Ronda at Chetif
was artisan.
Yeah.
Artistic,
Artistic,
yeah.
Artisanal.
Artisanal. Fancy chocolate makers, but they were really nice, and they had nice thing with the kids.
For the kids.
We bought a bunch of stuff. Buy lots of chocolate when you are here. It's
and coffee too. But anywho, that personalization again was excellent. So thumbs up on the guides and the personalization,
and thumbs up of 3 of the 4 places we stayed. But the thing is, overall, I've really enjoyed their things. One thing you really need to know, though, is private tours. How would you say it?
They're pricey.
Private tours are pricey. And the thing is, if you're going to do like a Rick Steves tour or something like that, I mean, they don't do South America, but if you're going to do a group tour, it's going to look a lot cheaper than doing a private tour. But the thing is, when you're in a group tour, you have group tour problems. If somebody is late, you're all late. You get 5 minutes at a site, we got to go someplace else. Private tours, you get to spend as much time as you want a different place. If you say, you know what, I've done enough chocolate tours, can we switch it up? They'll switch it up.
Well, at least Southern Exploration does. Not all,
but this one, that's one thing. And we'll have a video giving you advice on how to choose private tours as well. You can look that up on our website. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I've had a really nice time with them. What I really enjoyed, though, was the people and the guides.
Yeah,
I mean, they were just top-notch guides. So
they were absolutely fantastic. And maybe next time we do this, we'll go somewhere else with them. I would love to do another tour with Southern Explorations. And I don't know the last time we took a tour and said, I want to do it again with you somewhere else.
Because most of the time we do everything on ourselves, but we had such little time for this Ecuador one. It was like 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
And Ecuador is so diverse. This was hugely helpful. I mean, there are some places in the world I would never think to get a tour. Yeah. But in somewhere this diverse and with so many things to link up, Southern Explorations did a great job of the logistics, and that took a lot off our plates.
Yeah, so we could focus on learning about the culture and the food and the people, and really focus on learning that, as opposed to worrying about the hotel or
well, things. And I feel like we were only here for 11 days, and we were much more immersed because we were able to hand all the logistics off, all the drivers. Everything was just smooth as clockwork, just going, and like a well-oiled machine. And the fact that when a monkey wrench was thrown in, they just took it and went another direction. That says a lot of good stuff. So overall, I'm impressed with Southern Explorations, and their tours were fantastic. Their guides were top-notch.
Honestly, some of the best ever.
Maybe the one hotel was bad, but let's just hope it was a new cleaning staff.
Yeah, so anyway, If you want to learn more about visiting Ecuador, we did make our usual videos, 10 things that'll shock you about Ecuador.
Take your kids to Ecuador.
Jocelyn, you asked for more Jocelyn?
I did it.
She did it. You did 2 videos. She actually did another one on how to deal with screaming kids on the plane, how to be helpful.